Okay, let's go ahead and get started. First, I want to welcome everyone and thank you for giving us your time to learn about a topic that may be new. It's certainly newer to the industry. We hope to provide some beneficial information to each of you. So welcome. I'm joined by our intraoral scanning partner, Medit, and their corporate sales trainer, Sam. So I'd like to thank Sam for joining us as well. We'll both be presenting together the first part of a four-part webinar on the DESS PNP workflow. And so we'll get started. I'd like to first ask you, if you stay till the end, there'll be a raffle. I know nobody here likes free things, but we will be giving some free things away at the end. So if you stay till the end, we'll be having a raffle as soon as we answer questions, wrap things up. We'll be giving away some nice prizes for you. So just a small token to thank you again for your time. So my name's Darren Lockaby, and I'm the President General Manager of DESS USA. I've got 22 plus years in the dental industry, most all of that in the dental implant side of things. I worked for Novo Biocare for several years. I worked for Astrotech, which became Dentsply Implants, which then became Dentsply Sirona. So I survived all of those mergers for about 13 years. And then I spent a short stint with Kulzer before I joined DESS as their president of the U.S. for about 2 years ago now. And it's been a great move. I'm really enjoying it. I hope to show you some of the neat things we do that are innovative to support you in your dental laboratory and dental practices, and ultimately your customer, the patient. So we'll start running through those. First, you hear the acronym PNP, and I have a military background, so acronyms were part of life then, and I don't know that I knew what any of them mean, but you just spout off a bunch of letters together and you sound smart. So I'm going to say PNP probably 100 times today because I need all the help I can get. But PNP is a creative name that basically means plug and play. And traditionally, as a dental laboratory or a manufacturer, if you wanted to produce your own abutments, you had to register your organization with the FDA as a manufacturer. And you had to do that through a process called a QMS system, which is very time-consuming, very resource-heavy, can be expensive. And it has to be kept updated annually, and they will audit you fairly often in some cases. So that traditionally for years has been the route as a dental laboratory if you wanted to provide your own abutments milled in-house. More recently, we have come up with this PNP process. Again, PNP stands for plug and play, where you basically piggyback off of our 510K. We provide a validated system from start to finish. So from data capture all the way through to delivery of the prosthetic. We provide a recipe, if you will. It's a validated process that has 6 steps. And we provide a menu of options under each one of those 6 steps with some of our partners, Medit being one of them, where you choose one of those workflows and you choose in all 6 steps. And at the end, what you end up with is a FDA-cleared abutment using our 510K. So it starts with using FDA-cleared products, so like our pre-mills, our blanks. Validated system, we have a list of scanners. Again, Medit is one of the iOS scanners that is validated in this system. So use Medit, use one of the other validated scanners, check on number 2. You then have to use a library that is pre-approved. So 3Shape, ExoCAD, use one of those, check. Checked off on box 3. Box 4, your CAD design. Are you using Hyperdent or Millbox? Most in the US are using one or the other. You're using one or the other, check. Those are both validated. Then it goes to your mill. We have a list of 6, 7, 8 mills that are validated, and we'll get to all of those in a later episode. But if you're using one of those validated mills, check, you've got that, and then you have zirconias that you're using for the final prosthetic, and we have a list of those again. So you pick from the menu, you use one each that is validated in our system. You piggyback off of our 510(k) clearance, and you have a medically cleared device by the FDA. So it's a second way that is certainly less time resource dependent. You don't have to develop your own QMS system. Really, all you have to do is add the ingredients of our recipe, and boom. And it sounds really simple, and there's a reason. It's because it is really that simple. We're adding partners all the time. We listen to you and partners that you would like to have us validate. And so those are always, we're open to listen to those, to give you more options to, again, provide better results, no matter what the reason. Do you want to take advantage of some milling bandwidth that you have? Do you want to save COGS? Do you want to drive profitability? You're looking for another revenue stream? Is it more time? You want to be able to level load your workload? Do you want to give next day turnaround? Whatever lots of good reasons, we want to be able to support you with an innovative way to help you better run your business and still treat your customer with really high-end results. So that is by and large the PNP process. Again, it's 6 steps. Today, we are going to focus in on a little bit with step number 1 and mostly on step number 2, and Sam's going to walk you through that. We're going to talk about scanning, and Medit is, again, one of our partners. They are a validated intraoral scanning partner of ours with our PNP system. So Sam will show you how to utilize their product and scan with confidence. It's very seamless. It's super simple, and she can walk you through that much better than I can. It all starts with our scan body, and I don't like we have a really nice scan body, and there's a couple of really unique advantages. The first is it's coated with zirconia nitride, which gives it a nice coating that picks up easily with an intraoral scanner. So you don't get scatter, you don't get glares, you get a very complete image of the scan body. It's easy to manipulate. You don't have to use a hex screwdriver. It can be done manually with a tool that comes with the scan body by hand. So if you're in the posterior of the mouth, or someone that has a hard time opening up and giving you a lot of interocclusal space, you can utilize these much simpler, and you don't have to have the right screwdriver for this scan body and that scan body. You just deliver it with your hand. So it is easy to handle. And again, it gives the best, I would argue, the best images of any of the scan bodies that are on the market. So if you haven't tried them, I encourage you to. But that's where the process starts, is with a scan body. Now, we certainly make our scan bodies. We make them for 25 systems. So it doesn't matter what implant you're seeing or using or working with. We have more than likely a scan body that will work for that. Additionally, our scan body libraries will accept the 8 most common competitive, we'll call them competitive scan bodies, but scan bodies from other manufacturers on the system, whether it be Straumann, whether it be Preet, whether it be True Abutment, whether it's Neodent, whether it's an Atlantis scan body. You can take those scan bodies into our library to be able to utilize the PNP function and utilize our parts, DESS parts still. So at this point, I'm going to give you over to the expert, which is, again, not me. It is Sam. So I will stop sharing. And again, I just want to thank you for your time. And thanks for joining us. And again, stay till the end.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the introduction, and I'm super excited to have you guys join me and letting me walk you through the PNP workflow with DESS. Can you guys see my screen okay, Julie? Perfect.
Got it.
All right, so a little bit about me. I am a senior lead trainer here at Medit, and I've been with the company now going on 4 years soon. I do have clinical background from dental assisting to office managing, so I know the ins and out of a dental office, just like everyone here on this call. If you guys have any questions, my email and my cell phone number are listed on this slide. So if you have any clinical questions or any Medit questions, I am all ears. We are going to talk a little bit about Medit history, and we're going to rewind a little bit back. We're going to go back to the year 2000 where Medit was born. I can't believe it's been 25 years already. But officially into the dental market, we started in the year 2008, where we launched our first tabletop lab scanner. And we fast forward to the year 2018, where we launched our first intraoral scanner, the i500. And now we fast forward to today, where we have our sleek i900, which comes with a fancy button, or you can have that touch-free, touch with no button. So that's where we're at today with our scanners. Today we'll be showcasing the i700, but pretty much we are a global company and we are driven by your feedback. So please, anything that you guys have in your mind, please send it out to our company. We love to hear what our customers have to recommend to us anytime. Our R&D team craves your feedback. Here's a little slide that goes over a little bit of the comparisons with each of our scanners, but one thing that we all thrive on is our software. Our scanners are great, but our software is flawless, and all of our units work off of the same software. They all have an anti-fogging mode, a 3D full color streaming capture, and they all have autoclavable tips. So all of the tips with our scanners are autoclavable. Whether you want a scanner that's wireless, able to move and give you that freedom to move from operatory to operatory, or if you just want an introduction scanner, which is our i600, it all works great. Now, with the i700, we're going to notice that there's 2 buttons on the scanner, and I'm going to showcase it a little bit later when I do a live scan. Our live scan is going to be done by the i700, and it has 2 buttons. One is to start stop, and the other one is like a joystick where you're able to manipulate the scan and move it around, whether you want to rotate it, you want to pan view that scan, or you want to zoom in and out without having to touch your mouse or without having to touch your laptop when you need to look at something. Another thing that is built into our i700 scanner and any above, which is our i700s and i900s, is the UV disinfection that occurs within the scanner. It basically just rotates clean air inside of the scanner. And then we do have detachable cables that come with it. So this cable does detach, as you can see, and it's easy to travel with. Or if you have multiple offices, you're able to take the scanner with you everywhere and the laptop. All right, so let's talk about the software, a little software overview. And I love to talk about our meditlink.com because that's where your account is born. That's where you create your account. That's also where you manage all of your labs. And that being said, you have to request your labs to be your friends. Kind of like social media. I request Julie to be my friend on Instagram. She has to accept me in order for me to send her any cases. The beauty of meditlink.com as well is that you are able to view your cases from anywhere. So if I'm laying out on the beach and I forget something about a case and I want to look it up on my phone or on my laptop, I just open meditlink.com. Sign in with my credentials, and I'm able to view a case. Everything is cloud-based stored. From meditlink.com, we go ahead and we download the software. unless you have a laptop that was purchased directly from us. It already comes pre-configured. And then the app itself is where you will create all of your cases, where you fill out your prescription, and then also where you download any of the free apps that we have listed on our ecosystem. From there, once the prescription is completed, you are able to transition to our Scan for Clinics where the magic occurs. So remember I said free apps? So Medit thrives on the Medit ecosystem. As you can see here, this ecosystem that I'm talking about comes with any apps that you're able to use to design, whether it's a model or a splint or a 1-unit crown or bridge. And then we also have practice management integrations, CAD. Again, we've talked about ExoCAD earlier, and that's a partner of ours that is an easy integration. Click on the button and it drops it into the third-party software. And then anywhere from like mills, printers, you name it, the world is your oyster. So that being said, why Medit? Well, why wouldn't you want to Medit? But basically with the Medit, you are able to use it the way you please. It is an open system. You are able to use our apps and no annual fees. We are partnered with over 3,600 labs. We have over 100 workflows and 50 plus apps that are for free within our system. So that being said, thank you. Again, here is my cell phone and my email. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to transition to show you guys now the software itself and how easy it is to do this implant workflow with DESS. So here's my home screen. What we see here is our case box. And on the case box, I am going to create a brand new case. We're going to select our existing patient, or if you're not existent, we can just add a quick patient. But here we go. We'll select an existing one. Register and scan will take us directly to our prescription page, where now what we're going to do is we're going to select our implant site or sites if there's multiples. But for today, we're just going to keep it short, sweet, simple, and select one location. We'll select implant crown, the type of method you prefer, and then the material that you want the final crown to be. And if you know the shade, go ahead and add the shade. But if you don't, we do have this little memo box where you're able to type in the shade. Okay, so I'm going to keep it simple. And now we're going to transition to our platform number 3, which is where the magic happens, the Scan for Clinics page. I hope I'm not boring everybody here. But once we get into the Scan for Clinics page, because we selected the implant workflow, as you can see here, it automatically dropped in a 4th page. The traditional is just an upper lower bite, but it gives me that additional scan body page to be able to scan it. So we'll start with the opposing. Since the site is tooth number 3, I'm going to go ahead and scan the bottom. And since we're only scanning a 1 unit, we only need 1 quadrant. Now, if it was multiples, of course, we would scan the whole arch. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with the occlusal surface. And one thing I did want to point out is that we do have AI embedded in our software. So the beauty of AI is that it detects tissue that's the issue. So if we're scanning our lower arch, the tissue that's the issue is the tongue. So we're always going to do occlusal lingual buccal on the lower. So when we go to the top, you're going to notice that I am more than likely going to go the opposite, because the tissue that's the issue on the top is the lip and the cheek. So if I capture any of that data on the top and the software, aka the AI, detects the tissue that's the issue, it will automatically trim that for me. So let's pretend that I'm the assistant. I am bringing in the patient. I'm going to do the upper, the lower, and the bite, and I'm going to skip the emergence profile. I am going to skip the scan body and leave that for the doctor to do. So I'll start with the occlusal, push that blue button 1 time, and I'm going to work my way towards that incisal edge. Once I get to the middle of it, I'm going to rock a little bit back and forth just to get a flush incisal edge, and then go lingual. Capture that lingual. If I get any of my tongue data in there, once I roll buccal, AI is going to detect it, and it's going to delete it for me. I personally, I love looking at my live screen on the lower right side because that shows me exactly where I'm at. But I'm going to go ahead and turn off the scanner by pushing that blue button one time, and I'll show you the joystick. If I push that joystick one time, I can pan view it. Pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and push it again to do another sequence, which is the zoom in and out. And then if I push it another time, it'll let me rotate it. At this point, if I see anything that I want to fix or rescan, I can do so. But if not, I'm ready to move on to the emergence profile. I'm going to scan my scan with the healing cap still on. Let's just imagine the healing cap is in there. I'll go ahead and scan that. And one thing I forgot to mention, the i700, guys, it does have a reversible tip. So I can remove that tip, face it up to scan my upper arch to make it easier. The grip feels better that way as well. So once I get to that mid, I'm going to go buckle, bring it to the back. And then I'm going to go back to my healing cap area. All right. Now that I'm completed there, I am going to skip, hold that blue button, skip the scan body page, hold it one more time, and I'm going to go to my bite. I'm going to take my bite. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my patient open. I'm going to retract the cheek out of the way, then have them bite all the way down. Once they're biting all the way down, I'm going to go ahead and start the scanner. I'm not going to move it. I'm not going to wave it around. I'm going to let it sit there for just a few seconds just so AI can find a reference point. Once I do that, I'm going to wave it up and down, and quickly it found its reference point and took that bite. Easy peasy. All right. I'm going to go back to that scan that has my healing cap. It's asking if I want to collect more data, but I don't. I'm going to go back to that scan that has my healing cap. And I'm going to go to my trim tools. And I'm going to trim that healing cap out. Once it's trimmed out, I'm going to call the doctor. I'm going to say, "Doctor, we're ready." He's going to come in. He's going to unscrew that healing cap, and all he needs to capture is that sulcus, the emergence profile. So let's go ahead and start on the occlusal of the tooth behind it. Work my way towards that emergence profile. And then we do have a few buttons that I wanted to show you in our system that, I love to use. First one I want to show you guys is on the right side, we have our data display mode. If I click it up to number 4, it's going to give me my reliability map. So the reliability map, the way it works is anything in green is go, it's reliable. Anything in red is a no. So while this function is on, I am going to capture everything and make sure that it turns green. See that, guys? All right. Once everything is green and it's good to go, I can actually lock this tissue. Because what happens to tissue after some time? It starts collapsing, it starts shrinking. So since I caught it before any of that occurs, I'm going to go here. This little icon on my left-hand side is called the lock area tool. And of course, this is not mandatory. It's optional. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of my many selection modes. And I'll click the area and or brush it or polyline, whatever is your preference. But I'm going to go ahead and lock that in. So now if I need to scan anything else outside of that locked area, it won't overwrite it. Okay? All right. Now I'm ready for the final portion, which is scanning my scan body. And I'm going to show you guys how to use the library, because with the library, it automatically detects the scan body that you're going to use. And I have my fancy DESS scan body here. So if you look at the bottom of my screen, guys, you're going to see this scan body library matching. And then you're going to see these icons appear. You're going to click the library icon. And then here under library, you're going to search the brand and then the implant and the type and the subtype. Once you guys find it, and if it's a common implant that you use all the time, you can actually save it as a favorite by hitting the little star. So I went ahead and got ahead of the curve. I found this one and I saved it as a favorite. This is it. And I saved it. Now, if you cannot find something in our library, it's not the end of the world. Remember, this is an open system. It's all yours. You do as you please with it. So all you need to do is go online or reach out to exocad or whoever can provide you the library as an STL file, save it on your desktop and just import it into our system. And that's it. Save it as a favorite. And then the next step is to select the implant site it belongs to. So remember earlier I selected 3. You have to hit assign and you have to hit confirm. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that implant scan body. I'm going to place it in my patient's mouth. And I love this scan body because typically what we have is a driver. And my biggest worry back in the day is the driver just falling in the patient's mouth. With DESS, it's actually embedded in the implant scan body. So all I got to do is twist it and it's locked in. Okay. So the way you're going to scan that implant scan body is you're going to start on the tooth behind it and then right away go buccal. And there we go. It matched it right away. And the final step here is to just complete your scan. Now, because we complete the scan and we're going to choose our preference to processing the case, when you hit process, it's going to automatically close scan for clinics for me. And it's going to take me back to my prescription page where now you're going to notice the processing phase is going to take place. You can finish writing any additional notes to your lab. And then also by the time that occurs, you're also able to place the order. You're able to create an STL file, but you need to make sure that it's completely processed. And the way you're going to know is that it's going to say scan complete above. So while we're waiting for that to process, remember earlier I mentioned all the free apps that you guys can use within the Medit software. You're going to see here on my home screen on the left side, we have this app box. And then within the app box, under all, you're going to notice all of the apps that are in our ecosystem. But for the next webinar that DESS is going to host, they're going to go over transitioning to exocad. So if you see here under downloaded for that webinar, if you guys do have a Medit, go to dental CAD integration and you can just type it on the very top of our search engine on our app box and look for it and hit install. This installation literally takes seconds, less than a minute. Once the installation is done, the way you're going to find it is on your case in the prescription page. You're going to notice it up here. So when the processing occurs and it's done, all you need to do is click the icon and it's going to drop in all of those files into exocad, where you do not need to create STL files. So yeah, this should be finishing up shortly. And once it's done, I am going to show you guys how to create an STL file, just in case, you never know. And then finally, how to send an order as well. All right, spin, spin, spin. You guys have any questions you want to type in the chat in the meantime? Or you can go off mute if you like. There we go. Scan is now complete. So again, you can click on the button to drop it into the third-party software, and or you have the option of here. This button is the export. Here's your list of all the files. And then you select where you want it to be exported to. I like sending everything to my desktop, but on the bottom, mesh format, you're able to pick and choose what type of format you want to export. For this purpose, we'll say STL. I'm going to hit export. And then you're going to notice that the file is right there. So you can just click and drag out to wherever you want to send it to. And then order. Last but not least, because we did the scan body library, when we placed the order, it automatically puts that information from the library into your memo. Instead of you having to type in what type of implant, what size, and all that good stuff, it automatically drops it in here for us.